Is Ripple doubling down in the USA? Does the judge want the case to end too? And did the Security and Exchange Commission score a victory in the lawsuit? Stay tuned till the end of the video to find out. But first, we are giving away 25 XRP at the end of the month to one random subscriber to start on their XRP journey. All you need to do is to like the video, subscribe and comment your thoughts on XRP in the comment section. Welcome back XRP Army. Let's grow the XRP Lab community by pressing the like button and subscribing to this channel to stay updated at all times. Ripple Labs is apparently acquiring the whole 130,000 square foot building at 600 Battery in the Jackson Square district of San Francisco, California, and relocating its operations. Amid ongoing pressure from the Security and Exchange Commission versus Ripple lawsuit, where the securities agency argues that XRP is a security and that Ripple and individual defendants misled investors about the asset features, the company is deciding to go forward with the move of relocating. Well, Ripple chief executive, Brad Garlinghouse, has previously stated that the company may relocate abroad if its lawsuit against the Securities and Exchange Commission fails, citing the fact that there are a number of other countries whose laws are more welcoming toward digital asset firms and provide them with regulatory clarity, as opposed to the United States. He said in August, about Ripple, that it has already moved outside the US, to some degree, saying that, "We cannot keep saying it is clear and then trying to make it clear through enforcement." You see other G20 markets like the UK, Japan, Switzerland, and Singapore which have been proactive and engaged. And that has helped these markets thrive in those countries. If the US wants to be a leader in this space, then we need to provide that clarity and not act like there is clarity. However, taking up a full 130,000 square foot building in San Francisco will be a difficult task, because there is a possibility that Ripple might get fined a hefty amount. As attorney Jeremy Hogan said, given that most commercial leases are for 5 years, this does not seem to be the hallmark of a corporation preparing to transfer its headquarters. The Ripple lawsuit has moved to a different phase, with Judge Analisa Torres establishing the timeline for the summary judgment phase. The court desire to complete the proceedings more quickly than the parties had anticipated comes as a surprise. And this is good news for the public, who is eager to have this issue settled as quickly as possible, primarily for the sake of regulatory clarity and the relisting of XRP. Also, the Hinman emails are still the only issue standing in the way, but it is becoming more clear that the court will not tolerate any additional delays. The Security and Exchange Commission assertion of attorney-client privilege seems to be their final hope of preventing the emails from being turned over to Ripple. And many experts think that these filings are generally anticipated to totally transfer control of the case to Ripple, with a rapid settlement as a conceivable conclusion, and, as a result, the case is terminated before summary judgment is reached. Furthermore, Ripple and the Security and Exchange Commission had agreed on a plan that would surely push the ultimate case ruling far into 2023, but the court took the rare decision to reject the suggested schedule, delaying the decision by nearly a month. Jeremy Hogan hailed the pleasant surprise, at the time, seeing it as a desire to push the Ripple case to conclude this year. He shared his views in a YouTube video saying, "Oh, that was a pleasant surprise. Judge Torres has sua sponte, which is fancy Latin for, because she wants to and can, and moved up the schedule for summary judgment briefs to November 15th. What does he take from that? Well, Hogan thinks that she wants the Ripple case over before Christmas. What do you think about that? But will his prediction become true? Well, Thien Vu Hogan, Jeremy Hogan partner, commented in a recent video, saying that Judge Torres may have granted summary judgment in that time frame. Nonetheless, various concerns may arise along the road, like the requirement for an oral argument or an appeal. What is certain is that the court will not rule on the matter in September, and a judicial verdict might be issued in December or early 2023. What do you think? Will the verdict be issued in December? In the midst of the recent filing of attorney-client privilege, attorney Thien Hogan remarked on the Security and Exchange Commission filing that it is a death hunt to safeguard the Hinman emails at whatever cost. It may well prove to be that way in the future. What do you think? And Thien Hogan emphasized that the Security and Exchange Commission spent more time and effort protecting these emails than any other issue in this lawsuit, including arguments over whether or not XRP is a security. Also, about the attorney-client privilege, it is almost like the Security and Exchange Commission kept this argument in their back pocket in case the DPP argument did not go well, and not surprisingly it did not at all. As then Hogan explained that, the attorney-client privilege is the oldest and most important privilege in law and is meant to protect communications between you and your lawyer so that what you tell your lawyer cannot be used against you. She also added that it covers communications between client and lawyer that are confidential and that constitute legal advice. As for the Security and Exchange Commission claim, they will have difficulty explaining from whose position the speech was made because the agency has taken no less than 3 positions on whose opinion the speech was. First, it was the Security and Exchange Commission opinion, then it was Hinman personal opinion, and now it is the division opinion, according to the Security and Exchange Commission. Currently, the Security and Exchange Commission asserts that it is the client, despite the fact that the court has previously determined that Hinman's statement was his own view, and even the Security and Exchange Commission has acknowledged that Hinman had a personal counsel who advised him on the speech. If the messages involve generic legal conversations about applying Howey to digital assets, Attorney Hogan has reservations that they represent legal advice, according to the third pillar of the attorney-client privilege, which is legal counsel. As he said, that is not legal advice for attorney-client privilege. It cannot be stretched that far. In the meantime, Ripple will have a hard task arguing against the Security and Exchange Commission motion as they have no knowledge of what exactly is in those emails. The Securities and Exchange Commission gained a minor success in its action against Ripple Lab on May 4. As James Phelan posted the newest court decision on Twitter, informing his followers of the development. Phelan tweeted that, in a text-only order, Magistrate Judge Ned Byrne has granted the Security and Exchange Commission request to file a reply brief in connection with the Security and Exchange Commission attorney-client privilege claims regarding the Hinman speech documents. The regulator's reply is due by May 18, 2022. The Ripple Lab defense team may consider this a setback, but a settlement should enable the case to proceed more quickly, but counter-motions are anticipated from either side depending on the next court decision. Despite this, the price of XRP exhibited a minimal response to the motions and judgments issued this week. Also, in spite of considerable objections by Ripple Lab lawyer Solomon, the Security and Exchange Commission was successful in getting its way into the courtroom. In at least the 6th Security and Exchange Commission move, Solomon said in the courtroom that, since the defendants filed this motion to compel nearly 9 months ago, the court has twice overruled the Security and Exchange Commission improper deliberative process privilege objections. Notwithstanding that, and close to fact and expert discovery, the Security and Exchange Commission continues to withhold all documents related to a former agency official. Well, what do you think of the regulator's actions? Share your thoughts with us in the comments. Make sure to subscribe and give us a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Kindly note that the prices of cryptocurrencies frequently change, so by the time you watch this video, it might have changed to a whole new value. The information provided in this video does not constitute investment advice, financial advice, trading advice, or any other sort of advice, and you should not treat any of the content as such. The content in this video is for educational purposes only and hence should not be considered financial advice. Do conduct your due diligence and consult your financial advisor before making any investment decisions.